Hello, family. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I want to talk about my husband and his Yoruba culture. Now, when I first met my husband, I used to think, why is he so uptight? Why does he talk so loud? Why does he seem like he's so over extreme? I call it dramatic. They talk with their hands. He's got to get a point, but he seems like he's yelling and screaming, but we're having like a normal conversation. You see how I'm talking normal? He is like 100 times louder. Okay, so when I first met him, we was having conversations. This is like in our first 30 days of us talking. I remember we had got into a disagreement. I call it a disagreement, and he went from 0 to 100 like really quick. And I was so shocked by the way he was acting that I was like, okay, you need to calm down, because whatever is going on, it ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. Because I told him, when you first meet me, I'm very peaceful. I'm very serene. Everybody that's around me, my house is peaceful. I have always continually in my house in the States, I had soft music playing in the background, just to keep the atmosphere at peace. And I live by myself. So, and I have my dog Cornbread, but just peace. I don't need to have all that yelling and hollering. Is just not me. So when we had our first disagreement, he was yelling and screaming and just going all out of sorts. And you know what I did? Because I was thinking, like, now what is this? What's all this screaming? I just hung up the phone. And when I hung up the phone, I just like, okay, so I don't know what's that all about. So let me just hang up, because I ain't gonna be listening to all this. So he called me back and he's like, well, why did you hang up the phone? Blah 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 blah. And I said, look, if you're gonna yell and scream and do all that hollering, I don't do that. I don't do screaming and hollering. You need to bring it down. Or if you can't bring it down, then we can't have a conversation, because I don't think it's that serious. I think you're being over dramatic, and all the hand movements and all that's not impressing me. So if you can't bring it down and talk like a man to a woman, then we don't need to be having a conversation no more. And he just started going in on me like, who do you think you are talking to me like this? I'm a Nigerian man. I went click and I turned the phone off. And the next night, I turned my phone on, but I blocked him. So for 2 weeks, I didn't talk to him. I had blocked him on my social media. I didn't have WhatsApp then, so I blocked him on my Facebook. I blocked him from him calling me directly, so he couldn't get a hold of me. And I wasn't on any other social media. So after 2 weeks, I unblocked my phone, because I knew he was going to probably try to call me back. And he called me back. He did call me back. Once he called me back, he was like, what happened? Why come I couldn't get a hold of you for the last 2 weeks? I said, because if you're going to talk to me in that kind of tone, then we don't have a conversation. If you can't talk to me, man, to a woman, and tell me what's wrong and what's going on, because we just started talking, so we can't be that serious, okay? We just getting to know each other. So if this is how you're going to be, that's a deal breaker for me. I don't want that. You can be with somebody else that's going to tolerate that, but I'm not the one. From that time on, I never had that problem. Now, every now and then he would get like that before I met him, and I would just hang up the phone and just block him for like 3 or 4 days. And then when I came back, he would act normal. So when I met him in person, that's the very first thing he said to me. He says, wow, one of the things that you do, you just block me. You don't talk to me. You don't do nothing. You don't have no other conversation. I said, because that's immaturity to me. I don't understand that. And if that's your culture, all that screaming and hollering, I'm not about that. Now, let's fast forward. It's been going on 3 years, and now I've been with him living in Nigeria for 11 months. In the 11 months that we've been here, we have not even had a screaming match, because he has really been really quiet. He's very calm when we talk, because he's around me. So I didn't start all that yelling and screaming. He came to me and brought it down. So I have observed his whole family, other Yoruba, just all that screaming and hollering. And when they do that, I go into my room and I close the door, or I'll go into the car and close the door, or I put on my earphones and I turn music up, worship music, so I can just be listening to it. Because I don't like that screaming and hollering. I don't understand why I see that on the streets. They could be having a normal conversation, but they're yelling and screaming from the top of their lungs, and you would think that they're ready to fist fight. That's just not me. Now, our culture, Black American culture, there are some people that do that in our culture, but I'm not the one. So that's just a part of Yoruba that I have dealt with since I've been here in Nigeria. If you're Yoruba and that's just the way your culture is, explain to me why you're doing all that screaming and yelling when you just could have a conversation that's calm like this. It doesn't. You don't need to scream at the top of your lungs for me to listen. Have a wonderful day.